Hi everybody. I decided to go on dark screen video, y'all. Okay. Um, People tend to, act up sometime on the weekends. They get into their feelings. So I decided to do a dark screen video. Y'all know sometimes I do these type of videos, and I wanted to talk to black people, African Americans. Okay. Um, This video is not going to have anything to do with politics, what's going on in the news, none of that. That's not going to be in the topic of this video. But I do want to talk to black people about something, and I just want to keep it real, real. I hope that we get more people in here. If I don't, then I might get on video so that people will, click in the video. So just give it a minute or two until we get more people in here. I want to try to get a couple more black people in this video. Please listen to this video and take this video seriously, y'all. Okay? Um, this major change needs to happen in the black community. And this video has nothing to do with black on black crime, none of that stuff. So please don't bring any of that in here. The thing about with black people is we are so focused on our looks, like how we look with our clothes and our hair and all of that, and we're very obsessed with like looking like bodybuilders um and all ripped, when actually that's exactly why black people are not living long. We're not living long anymore. If you go to the nursing homes, you'll hardly see any old black people in there. If they're in there, they're like all bent up, twisted in a wheelchair. Um, but we think that's not going to happen to us because we're going to the gym, we're lifting weights, we're overtraining for 3 hours. Our ancestors were not, they weren't actually doing that much work like we think. Okay, the only time they were doing that much work is when they were slaves and when they was working for pharaohs in Egypt. That's the only time they was lifting rocks for like hours with the 10-minute, 20-minute break. That's the only time they were doing that. Okay, I don't know why we're still kind of doing this, the slave master workouts, and we don't realize it. See, it has been changed. It has been turned into gym workout, but it's actually still slavery workout. It's just a new way of doing it and making you think that it's beneficial. Your heart, your heart, often with your genetics, gets only a certain amount of beats. This is the realest talk, okay? Your heart doesn't care where the stress is coming from. Stress is stress. And when you're working out all the time in these gyms, that's stress on your heart. You may look good and say muscles, but you're still cutting years off your heart life. And it's very hard to replace your heart and your mind. Okay, it's very hard. My grandfather got a new heart and literally almost died after he got the heart, and didn't live as long as he liked, even though he got a new heart. And in his younger years, he was always ripped. He was always a robust dude, and he worked a lot. And by the time he got in his 60s, he needed a new heart. Maybe if I share the story of my grandfather, maybe that'll wake some black men up and black women up who are obsessing over lifting weights. The black community needs to get out of that. Get out of that. We are already dealing with genetic trauma from being the children of slaves. Okay, we were born with stressful energy. Our energy was already stressed when we were born because of the history of our ancestors. We need to glamorize more chilling. I know that's hard because we're trained. You got to work in the world as a black person, or you're lazy, you're a bum, and you're not contributing to society. But we know we have high anxiety due to things we go through that other people aren't going through. That's also creating problems with our heart health. So we need to prioritize more slow and rest and slow activities rather than stress tension. We have to focus on doing things that still make us feel relaxed. I saw a quote that said, I saw a quote that said, tension is who you want to be, relaxed is who you are. When you do cardio, you're relaxed. Okay? When you're done with cardio, you're not really worried about who you becoming and who could you be. You're not thinking about that because you weren't putting tension on yourself. So your heart thanks you for that. Your heart, one of the number one killers in the black community is high blood pressure. Cardio literally lowers your blood pressure. Now, why are so many black people dying of high blood pressure? Because we're not doing cardio. We're taking 10-minute walks around the block and we're running to the gym. That's what we're doing. And we're lifting weights. I'm seeing so many black people straight up bulky out here. I'm not saying obese necessarily, but still we're bulky. We got to understand that weight is still weight. Now, when you have that weight on you, when you have that excess weight on you, it acts as a block to your brain power. Why do you think some of the most best geniuses in the world are lean or skinny, or they're not really ripped? They're not really all muscular. Albert Einstein was not muscular. Langston Hughes was not muscular. Gwendolyn Brooks was not muscular. Okay? Rita Dove wasn't. None of them were bulky. Neither was Nikki Giovanni. Neither was Richard Wright. When we go looking in our history, black history, we have to look at what they were doing in which they were able to live to be at least 85, and they were so brilliant. It's not just how they studied, it's also their lifestyle, their health and fitness was in alignment with whatever they were doing to create longevity. When you become a genius, the creator blesses you with longevity. I know that's wild. I know that's wild to think that becoming a genius extends your life. It will extend your life past the point that you would probably be expected to die. Okay? You will find that there's geniuses that were able to complete some things simply because all of their energy was going into their brain rather than lifting weights, rather than over sexing themselves. As a matter of fact, geniuses normally don't even have sex till they're done with their daily project. That means a lot of their energy is going into their brain power. We have a mental health crisis in the black community because we are not glamorizing becoming geniuses. I'm not talking about being good at something. I'm not talking about a little talented. I'm talking about genius in your brain, because guess what? That's what you're going to wish that you did when you get old. When you get 80 and 90 years old, you're going to say, damn, I wish I would have did more with my brain because I can only keep this body together but so long. Okay, this is the real talk. When I was working in the nursing home, this is going to trigger some black folks, but I'm going to call it what it is. Okay, don't get triggered, black folks. Don't get triggered. If you want to get triggered, fine. But I'm just telling the truth. I didn't take care of white people almost my entire adult life. That's what I did. Okay, I took care of people. Caregiver, assistant to the director, running my own units. And most of the white people were walking around without walkers, and they were geniuses. All the most brilliant white people that was in my classes did not need a walker. That is so deep. That is so deep. I would say, hi, Phyllis. Charlotte was literally 99 years old and walking away from her walker and wearing sweatsuits and not Nikes, and literally maybe was only 130 pounds. She still remembered how to play the piano. At 99 years old, she's in there playing the piano like somebody in their 20s. You know what Charlotte did? Charlotte was very careful with calculating her calories on her plate. She literally made sure the portions were always the same. I watched this woman because I was like, how is she living this long? She even had all her teeth. Charlotte would say, you know, I got all my teeth, honey. But I would see her portion sizes were just perfect, like the picture. The picture that they had back in the 1950s, her portions were exactly like that. Charlotte is still alive. She's over 100 years old. She's over 100 years old. And someone told me, said, you know, she's still alive. She's on the fourth floor. I said, she's on the fourth floor? She's only on the fourth floor for her protection. Charlotte is a peaceful, happy woman, a genius, walking around over 100 years old. She's not bent over, none of that. I have yet to see a black person in the nursing home with that type of privilege. When you are trying to be a genius, what you're not doing is running the streets, really. What you're not doing is sleeping with different people. What you're not doing is worrying about going to the gym. The Asian people live long lives because a lot of them don't care about the gym. They care about Tai Chi. They care about yoga. They care about swimming. You ain't never going to escape stress in this world, but you can always defeat it quicker than the last time. You can always quiet it and soften it so you can protect your heart health. The Asian people know this. Your brain and your heart is critical. You can pretty much replace everything else. You can replace everything else. Even if you get a new heart, the odds of surviving is slim. I done took people into heart surgery and they died. I'm telling y'all the truth. My grandmother-in-law was almost 90. Went in to get a triple bypass, slipped into a coma and died. And I was the one who took her into the surgery. Now, guess what? In her older years, she got overweight. She was a chubby, overweight, 80-something-year-old woman. Do y'all think she would have been dealing with that heart problem if she would have stayed thin? I highly doubt it. So black people, stop glamorizing being thicker than a Snicker. These changes must be made in order for you to live long enough to do generational wealth. We're saying we want generational wealth for our kids, but we're not even living past 60 now. Even if you do your 9-to-5 job and you retire, you're probably going to retire at 65, but you're going to drop dead within a couple years. So if you don't have a pension and retirement plan or 401k that racked up money over 30 years, your kids are not being left nothing. The money's going to go to your funeral, whatever bills you have left, whatever property tax on your property, whatever, medical bills or whatever. So you're not even going to live long enough after your 9-to-5 job to even spend the next 15 years on a private business of yours generating generational wealth for your grandkids or great-grandkids. Our objective is no longer to fight the white man. Our objective is longevity. Longevity gives you opportunities to make more money, to leave more money to your kids. Longevity gives you more to have a legacy, to do things that will inspire and change the world by whatever product you're putting out. See, while we're thinking that we're getting ahead, joining the bodybuilding world, we're not. When you think you're getting ahead because you're getting thick, you're not. When you think you're getting ahead because you're just clocking in the work, but you're not even becoming a genius in anything, you're not. Women, your brain will decline faster than the men. I know you think it's the opposite. Menopause will take your brain down so fast you will be like, how is this even happening to me? And there's many reasons why black women especially have early onset dementia and don't even know it. Don't even know it. I got black women in my family in their 60s. They got dementia. I'm seeing it. I'm qualified to diagnose it. I'm qualified, certified, and that's what I did. I took care of people with dementia. I've hung out with 60 something year olds, got dementia right in front of my face, and they don't even know they got it. And the reason why black women have early onset dementia, early onset, is because all the mental health problems we're going through. Kids who don't want to listen to us, who want to fight with us day and night. Just keep it real. Arguing all this back and forth and all that type of stuff. I'm exposed to the white people. I noticed that my daughter, she don't argue with the white side of her family. I notice over here the white kids, when the white mamas try to put them in their place and stuff, they be quiet and they listen. I'm just keeping it real. Why do our kids fight with us so much? Because they got the pressure to be bold, to stand up. They think that they have to be in that energy with us when they really need to be in that energy for whatever cause that they thinking about fighting in their head. They got misplaced anger and misplaced emotional outrage by the treatment of them even as kids. So we have to go through this with our kids. They projecting their emotions on us because they're mad about what they're going through in school, what they're going through in society when they're out with their friends. So black women got to go through that. Okay. So then there are no programs. If you're a born black woman, there are no programs that give you free HRT. So now you're dealing with depleted estrogen. You hit 40 and it's like your estrogen is so low. You don't have the energy. You don't have the energy to lose all the weight that you put on in your 30s. So the goal for the black women is not to get fat after 30. Not to get fat. Going to the gym, that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. Black women can benefit off fasting than anybody else in this world. We are genetically built to have gains. This is proven that the African American community genetically can put on weight and muscle faster. Since we know this, we have to control our diet. We have to control our emotions. We have to be willing to go to therapy simply because we know our genetics can work against us with the weight gaining. Our ancestors were the main ones chosen to be gladiators because how fast they could put on weight. A lot of African Americans have a lot of Eastern energy and Earth energy in their genetics, the elemental energy. So it makes them gainers. But what is that doing for your heart health? It's not doing nothing for that. So you may look good, you may be ripped and thick, but what are you going to do when you are dealing with heart failure and your kids have no one to take care of them? Your grandkids got nobody but you. Everybody else in your family is dropping dead from heart attacks and stuff in their 60s. So what are you going to do? You're going to leave your grandkids to follow the same mistakes that their parents is making, that you made? You're just going to keep that problem going down the line? When your kids have no one to turn to help them with their grandkids because you're in the grave? We are in a self-absorbed time period. You owe your kids the effort of longevity now. You owe them that. And that is what you should be working on. You should be looking up how to extend your life. You want to live as long as you can so that you know that your kids and your grandkids is all settled in. They didn't settle into their dreams and all of that, because this world is so self-absorbed now. No one's coming in to rescue them. Welfare is not enough. They need longevity to help each other too. But they need you to help them so they live long enough to help the next generation. Okay? You need to start thinking outside of your race. The black culture is toxic. Think outside of your race. Why are they living longer than me? Why are their businesses thriving better than mine? They have the energy. A skinny person cannot walk you any day in this park. I hardly see any thick black people walking hills. They can't. Their heart will start hurting, getting out of breath. When you can walk hills, you feel like you can fight any damn fight in this world in peace. You start to feel like you are unstoppable. You will see that your manifesting powers is quick and strong and frequent. When I was macking the hell out of some hills, when I was 130 pounds, all my blessings were coming. Because I had strength when I got done and I realized these hills was super easy. Like, I might have got a little out of breath because it was hot. I might have only complained a little bit once I got to the top. But it built such character that I was very unbothered by society because I was able to do that. People called me, they told me on the job that I had nerves of steel. My director, who had been doing the same job as me for 20 years, said, "You have nerves of steel. How can you deal with so many insane people and not get upset?" I didn't know the answer at the time, but I knew it was because, and this is going to trigger people, I was skinny and she wasn't. I knew that was why. I didn't know at that time, but I knew eventually down the road when we switched places, well, when I joined her place, when we both was fat, I understood then. I didn't have the excess weight feeling like I already did a bunch of work. So by the time I got to work, all that irritation was just like little bees around me. It really wasn't like bothering me. I have literally, I mean, this is why I'm not saying that skinny people don't suffer too. But the bottom line, they ain't stressing like thick people. I know you think they are, but they're not. Okay? They're not. I have worked with skinny Africans and they be so at peace in the break room. They are so powered up, I couldn't even keep up with their energy. Their heart health was leaving mine in the dust. See, the heart is energy. You don't need muscle to be strong. A strong heart will feed you strength. It will feed you strength. Put your heart where you have peace. You know that, look, I'm going to tell y'all something else that I found out. Through my family, there's a lot of black people walking around with heart abnormalities. I know that's wild, but oftentimes, unless you get a scan of your heart or echocardiogram or anything, that you won't even know. I speak from personal experience. I've been walking around my entire life with blood coming back out of my heart valves. Instead of going all the way with the flow, some of it squirts back out. I have a high pressured heart, high pressure blood flow. I had no idea, okay? I didn't know that my mother had an abnormal valve design with her heart. I didn't know that my sister has the same thing. Now, half the black people in my heart has these heart abnormalities, okay? And I know that I am a descendant of documented slaves. So I'm sure some of you have it too. But you just haven't got your heart literally examined. CTs, closer look. You may feel that little pain and you're like, oh, that's just indigestion. There's a lot of black people that always say they got indigestion. But I was blown away when I found out that my heart is a little bit too large and extra blood squirts right back out. So when I stand up, my blood pressure goes up when I stand higher than it's supposed to be. So if I'm not real skinny, then my blood pressure is even more higher. So I have to be on high blood pressure medicine always when I'm overweight, regardless of how healthy I eat. But when I got lean, I was able to not be on high blood pressure medicine because my blood pressure standing would only be at 90. It wasn't over 90. It wasn't a red alarm. It wasn't in stage 2 or stage 3. I'm going through my entire life with my bottom number almost always at 90, even when I'm skinny. Some of y'all think y'all ain't doing the same. If heart failure is one of the number one killer of black people, y'all think y'all don't got that going on too? So all this arguing and fighting in weight training needs to stop. Cardio. Our ancestors were nomads. They traveled the world. They traveled to see the world. That's what they did. They migrated. And through all that migration and walking and stuff, they were able to keep their blood pressure low, and they was actually able to live longer than they should been at that time without our medicine. If they had the medicine we had, the dental medicine we had, they would probably have been living 100, 200 years old back then. Most of them died from dental problems. Most of our ancestors were not dropping dead from gallbladder explosions and all of that. Most of them died from abscess and things like that you almost can't avoid if you break a tooth and things like that. Because I think that's what happened with Nefertiti's wife or something. She had an abscess. I'm sorry, King Tut's wife had an abscess. And the truth about King Tut is King Tut was half black. His father was African. Okay? So when people try to hate on King Tut and say he was a white guy, he was not white. King Tut was of color. King Tut Jr. was of color. But his generation primarily died off due to dental disease and slip and fall accidents with broken bones that they couldn't fix. Things like that. And injuries from battle. But we are dying. We ain't dying for that. Are we in these streets battling? No, we're not. We're not having a lot of physical fights out here. We're dying all because our diet and our culture. Why keep being in a culture when you see that it's like killing off a group of people so fast? It's time to lead a culture. The culture of trying to grow your hair long. I got a little wake-up call for black people with that. When you do your own hair, it's stressful. When you're twisting your head, bending your head, when you're breaking your back and stressing over anything long periods of time, it still puts stress on your heart. Let me give you a little wake-up call about that. Our ancestors weren't always with long hair. They weren't. Some of them was literally cutting their hair off and making wigs, their own wigs out of their hair, because they was having lice epidemic, and they realized that growing their own hair and keeping it on her head was becoming a health risk. They realized that. They realized that they didn't need long hair to hear God. So they didn't see the point of trying to grow their hair down to their booty. And half of the empresses did not have long hair. They were bald with homemade wigs that they made out of the hair that they cut off their head. They would grow their hair while they were young, a little young, like maybe to their 20s, cut all their hair off because they weren't allowed to really cut their hair when they were little. Then they would cut their hair off, keep the hair, make wigs out of it, and just take care of those wigs and keep their hair short underneath. This is what we're supposed to be doing rather than running out here and buying some random wig off the rack. This is going to save you money. When you have to keep replacing money, that's still stress on your heart. You're stressing about money. Money can be a lifesaver, or it could be a powerful killer. Okay? It's a champion in life and death. It's the ultimate champion, the ultimate saver, and the ultimate killer. When you're cutting your hair off, you keep your hair. You can always make wigs out of it. When you cut your kids' hair, say we don't throw away hair in here, because we can always hire somebody even to make our own custom wigs out of this. But at some point, you have to surrender the doing things, this chasing things that's not necessarily to be chased. And that is also like trying to keep your hair long when you're old. Do you see white women doing that? I mean, do you see them in the nursing home with like, I want my hair all the way down to my knees? You don't see them doing that. Why? Because time is precious to them. They're not going to the salon sitting 6-7 hours in the salon. That's stressful. They're not getting no exercise. You're sitting there like a robot, stiff like a doll, 6-7 hours getting your hair done. For what? If someone's going to love you less because you have short hair, then they weren't for you from the beginning. You don't think that the Egyptian queens, their husbands knew they were bald? They knew they were bald. Their husbands knew that they were bald. And some of the high priestesses were bald, and everybody still wanted them because they were pure. Purity trumps long hair any day. Purity trumps thick butt any day. If you're around a divine male, believe me, he's not going to care about that if he sends purity with you. We have to start putting our energy where it's going to give us energy that we need back. It's a guarantee. It's not guaranteed that someone's going to love you because you have long hair. Plenty of women with long hair in India is being beat up with their husbands and stuck in those marriages. So stop thinking life gets better because how you look. Life gets better how you feel. When the coaches like Earl Nightingale say feeling is the key, that is it. That's the number one thing. You don't need to know really anything else. But when you strive to be a genius, best believe you walking around on cloud nine when everybody else is unhappy and miserable and pissed. You're feeling really good about yourself. You didn't eat between meals because you was busy trying to do something that would help society. You were locked into your imagination, so you wasn't even thinking about hunger. You wasn't thinking about how better you look better than the last time. That's not on your mind. You're not worried about if anybody loves the way you look. You ain't thinking about none of that. You're not thinking about racism. You're not thinking about none of that. I don't think about any of that when I'm mastering a fictional story that teaches people about my roots. When I celebrate my roots and my narratives, I feel like there ain't no hate in the world. I'm not even thinking about my money situation in my bank account. I'm not thinking about troubles I'm having. I'm not even chasing my husband when I'm in that energy. I'm not thinking about how much time he didn't spend with me. I'm not thinking about when's the last time I did something with my daughter. I'm living in my mind. I'm free. I'm not even thinking about if I'm flabby. I naturally lose weight. It's almost like God say, I'm happy for you. So let me make everything else is fixed. I'm going to fix everything else while you're loving, while you're celebrating your mind. Because the mind is the only thing you're taking with you. You're not taking out coffin, the jewelry on your fingers. You're not taking... When I see black people in the coffin with jewelry, I'm like, why are you putting jewelry on your fingers? Why are you burying this person with gold? That could be money in the kid's bank account. When I see black people in $200 suits in the coffin, I'm like, seriously? Like, seriously. You know how I buried my dad? My dad was buried in a loaner coffin, a spare coffin, at the funeral. Okay, he was cremated. And I received his ashes in a cardboard box because I said, I'm not paying $300 for an urn. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. $2,000 gives me an hour of his funeral, a loaner coffin, a suit, a $40, $50 suit, which his brother bought as a gift on sale. And I hand designed my father's obituaries and printed them up, which saved me like $200. Okay. We had his hair cut short, just cut down. No $50 hairdo on him. This is the realest stuff. My dad's funeral was no more than $2,000. Could we have done better? Yes, we could have. But what is better? He's dead. What do he need with this stuff? Like, I'm serious. His brother is wealthy, is rich. His first cousin is rich. They were there. We had money. But why didn't we do any more than that? Because this is what the funeral director told me. He told me the truth. He said, when black people bring their dead folks in here, they spend so much money on the funeral. He said, do you know I often get a lot of white people who don't do that? I said, wow. My husband's family don't do that. If they didn't have insurance to cover it, you get cremated in a 30-minute little funeral where everybody say goodbye, everybody sit around in somebody's house, and that's it. That's what you get. Because they want to keep wealthy. My husband's family own homes, businesses, corporations, whatever. They don't want the stress. They already grieving about their loved one. We need a stress relief program in the black community. How to tackle each things that we have no choice but to tackle. We ain't avoiding death. Someone's going to die in the family. We're not avoiding that. We know that at some point we're going to hit on a medical problem. We know at some point we may end up losing some money, losing a job, or having to change locations. We need game plans for that. And it needs to be only what I have to spend. Only what I have to spend to get it done. That's it. Because when I spend money, I'm spending my energy. When I spend money, I start to worry about money. Because I'm a black person in a society that won't pay me fair wages. I start to worry about money. Every time I spend a little more than I could, that was necessary. I don't need, money's always like trying to make me worry about it because of who it's coming from in society. So I need to deal with that first. I need to get that together. I think that we as black people, we need to start glamorizing, literally like fasting every month. That way we can do a reset on how we treating ourselves, how we're treating our money. Tell everybody we fast 2 days in this house every month. Our energy is under attack too much. Okay, we know that it's expensive to go to therapy. We know this. We know this. So our therapy is fasting every month. We don't need Ramadan. We need Ramadan like every month. Do you know that white people in a nursing home at 90 years old, some of them will fast 2 days a week. They won't come to dinner and they won't come to lunch. You literally knock on their door and be like, you didn't eat lunch and dinner. They'll be like, I'm not eating lunch and dinner today, honey. I'm good. I had a sandwich this morning. And we used to panic and be like, they have to eat. They have to eat. And these 90-year-old white women would be like, we're not eating. Some of them would come down for a cup of coffee for breakfast and be like, I'm okay, honey, I'm gone. And we'd be like, you didn't eat your breakfast. I'm not. I only one came for my coffee. But I'm trying to understand that we're young and we're so meaty and strong and firm. Why can't we do this? Literally. I told my family today, I will no longer eat like an adult. There is no adult eating. There's no such thing. There's only kid eating. And I know that's like crazy because as black people, we was taught this is what adults eat and this is what teenagers eat. No, we're supposed to eat exactly the same what teenagers eat. We're supposed to be literally the same. If you go to the hospital, they will literally make your plates exactly how the teenagers' plates are in high school. You will get the same food. And when I was in the hospital, this triggered me, but then I understood that they was just calling it what it is. They had called me for my food, right? This was when I was in the hospital with COVID. And they had said, for you. And I said, why this woman going to say for you? She said, for you, you can only have the fish or the beef patty. One and only one and one of the other. I said, why does lady say for you though? I was triggered by that, but then I realized they have my genetics. They know my blood type. They know that I'm a gainer. They know, these hospitals know when they do your testing. So she was basically telling me, don't even think about getting any extra food. Don't even think about getting any robust food. You're getting low fat and low calorie food. She like told me from a for you, because she knew I was gonna say, you got some chicken salad sandwiches or tuna salad, with the mayo. She was like, no, they didn't send me no dressing. No, I got no dressing. When they sent me milk, it was low-fat milk. I said, these people are very disrespectful in this hospital. That's what I was saying. But don't you know, when I left that hospital a week later, I was 8 pounds smaller. My clothes was literally falling down. In 7 days, I lost 8 pounds. But yet, I remember I was like never eating between the meals there. They never brought me a snack. I remember just one time I said, I'm a little hungry. Can you bring me a snack? They brought me a graham cracker. I said, really? I looked at the nurse like, she brought me a graham cracker. I was only allowed to have like 80 grams of carbs as a snack. And we sit up here and we say, well, white people are out living us. They're literally going by the way the hospital feeds them too. We need to stop complaining about other races and find out what the F they are doing. What are they doing? Like, this is real. If you say this is my enemy, but my enemy is whooping my butt and beating me, okay, find out how. Find out how. Watch them. I don't mean to be rude, but if you are a materialistic and obese, they're not watching you that much. You're not somebody to be watched. I'm not trying to be smart. But super fit white people who are in shape, okay, these lean, skinny white people all around us, and all of that, they ain't really watching your obese butt. They're not. I said this video was going to trigger some of y'all. I know you think that you're on their mind like that, but you're not. People don't want to be around people that's going to put bad culture into their life and get them stuck. When people know how this economy is and they see how you treat yourself and they know you're black, and you're still treating yourself like that, you're not on their mind. They're not even worried about you. If anything, they think that you have lost your damn mind, that you would dare treat yourself like that as a black person in this raggedy economy. You are like a laughing stock. And it's going to be hard to get respect. When you are trying to extend your life, you'll notice that people respect you more. I notice as well. I noticed that when I started going for slow walks every day at the park around the white people, and they would see me sit in the bench meditating, they would watch me doing like Tai Chi and yoga and animal dances in the park, and I would see them watch me. Do you know after like a couple of weeks now all the white people are like, "How you doing? How your day going?" They saying hi every time they see me now, because they see the work that I'm putting in. They see that I'm doing things that they're doing to have longevity, and I'm not just sitting around complaining and bitching. Everything okay? Yeah. Okay. Hey, I had a talk with a family member about that. They were like, "Oh, what's this? I'm tired. This is hard." And I said to them, I'm on the live video. They can't see you though. And I said to them, I said, it's because you literally don't do nothing for your heart health. When they started taking care of their heart, let me tell you, half of the medication they were on, they're not on anymore. I haven't had to take my high blood pressure medicine in days now. Now I still do take it sometime, all because my pressure's up regardless. I could sit here and be 130 pounds and still it'll be 90 because of the high, just my heart, how my heart pumps blood. It's genetic. But I only got to be on a half a pill now. See what I'm saying? I'm only on a half a pill and I don't have to take it every day. If I have a day of no stress, then my heart health doesn't even go to 100 when I stand. So that means I don't even have to take a half a pill. But because I haven't been dealing with any stress over the last week, I haven't had to take my half a pill at all. The only thing I'm taking is medicine for bones. And I'm going to have a talk with black women about this. Your bones, you don't see black women in nursing homes with strong bones. They're bent up and twisted in wheelchairs. You know why? Because we refuse to get health care for our estrogen. And I'm not trying to be smart when I say this, but this is why people say when we get in our 60s, they say, "Oh, you got nice skin, but you look haggard and you look bent. You look old still. You might got smooth skin, but you look old. Your bones and everything looks all bent and twisted feet." I've seen so many black people with twisted feet. It's not even funny anymore. It's just not even funny. I don't know why we don't glamorize wearing sandals. Why aren't we wearing baby doll shoes like Asian people? I do. I've had some black people look at me like I'm crazy because I'm not wearing high heels. What do we need? What do we need with high fashion baby doll shoes? I mean, high fashion high heel shoes. What do we need with that? We can walk around with sandals all day. You can go get you some $80 moccasins like the Jewish people do and save your feet. Go get some moccasins. Go get some moccasin sandals. Go to the Jewish stores. There's some in Shady Side, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They have them in the windows over there and walk around in them all day. It's not about being cute. It's about saving your body. It's about respecting your body. Longevity requires respect for every part of you. Every single part. Right down to your feet. In my home, we do feet every month. Even if we don't have any spare money at the time to go get it professionally done, we will do each other's feet. My daughter walks around with perfect looking feet and perfect looking hands because I trained her that way. Growing up, we always had hand and foot sessions. So she has regular scheduled feet and hands appointments every month. If you go to the nursing homes and you go look at the black people in the wheelchair, You will see their fingers are twisted and bent. Why? Because we do too much cooking. We do jobs with our hands a lot. I'm seeing black men with busted up knuckles and stuff. Why aren't we putting our money there? You don't need more clothes. You need someone to take care of your hands and your feet. You don't need more hairdos. You need to save up and get new teeth. Black people cannot keep teeth in their mouth. You know why we can't keep teeth in our mouth? Because we think we can eat any hard food because we got big teeth. A lot of black people got, if you want to call it, barbarian teeth. Okay, like the barbarians, like people try to say we are, caveman teeth. And we think we can go ahead and just eat these raw vegetables, chopping on some vegetables, and all of that type of stuff. I'm going to tell you a story. A family member of mine started doing that. Now, they're not black, but they started doing that, and they have small teeth, tiny teeth. Do you know that their teeth started just breaking in their mouth? I started doing the same thing. It took longer for my teeth to break because my teeth are thicker and bigger, but eventually they did. We have to start glamorizing eating our soup, boiling our food, broiling, using our crock pots. Crock pots is like no different than how our Native Americans was boiling their food, slow cooking it on an open pit. We don't even bother to eat a lot of soup. I have never been to black people's home and it's like soup day. I don't ever hear that. Like I be wanting soup and be like, yeah, nah, I ain't got no soup. When you making chicken soup? I only make it in the wintertime and when I'm sick. I'm like, really? Okay. Okay. As I said, we need to stop thinking so much about what other people are doing and focus on our health. Stay out of that damn gym. I'm telling you no lie, y'all. It's gonna seem cute. Even getting on the treads, not cute. I'm gonna tell y'all another fact about the black people's genetics. Most black people and African Americans in America are blood type B. Normally B positive or AB. Most black people. Do you know those blood types are a higher risk of infectious diseases, contracting germs and diseases from the air, as well as like bacterial diseases? Now, what do you think is all throughout the gym? What do you think is on the trash? Do y'all know how many times I went to the gym with my shorts on and I literally sprayed the seats down, and then a couple days later I got tinea on my legs? Tinea. Yet I wash with eucalyptus and mint, antibacterial soap and all that, and I still got it. I haven't been to the gym in weeks and it has not come back. It has not come back. And my blood type has it's of a sensitive immune system that goes with it. I had somebody come here during COVID and literally stand at my door. They were bringing me something. They had COVID, and I ended up getting COVID. They weren't even near me. They were just talking. They were just talking like a couple feet away from me through the door, but the air, the particles still got me. So why are we going to the gym? We don't belong in the gym. We belong in the woods. You go to the woods to work out. If you want to do lightweight training, fine. Your weight should not actually create a lot of tension. It needs to be a little bit of tension, because diamonds require a little bit of tension when you're trying to get them out of those coals. A little bit of tension, because you're just trying to build strength. You're not really trying to get ripped. So Go get you some little free weights, put them in your car, take them to the woods and do it. At least you're protecting your lungs and you're not getting diseases from going to the gym. And you're getting sunshine. See, the thing about with white people, I notice how they're, a lot of them are outside a lot. They know that they're getting the sun, the fresh air, and they're working out at the same time. So they don't have to schedule in sunbathing and time for that. They're getting it all in one session. Working out in your living room is not beneficial to you as a black person. Why? Because vitamin D is a common deficiency with black people, and so is vitamin B. My doctor said his patients, that most of his patients who come in with vitamin B deficiency is black and vitamin D. So if your vitamin B and D is low, you're at higher risk of dementia. I asked him, why is that? And he said, because, believe it or not, a lot of African Americans, they don't get as much sun as they're supposed to get. We are sitting in a house a lot. We're going from house to house. We're going from bar to the house. We're going from gym to the house. We're going to the grocery store to the house. We're not standing out in parking lots talking to each other like we used to do. All that is starting to take a toll. All that is taking a toll on our mind. We need to start doing our work outside. Our ancestors were outdoor people. We are not Greeks and Romans where they was indoors around marble all the time. That's not our culture. That's not the genetics that we have. So our ancestors was getting long periods of time of outdoor energy. If you ever notice the black people who look so good and they're skinny, they're always outside. There's a guy that I know from this YouTube channel. He literally walks from one side of our city to another. And he does this, and he's out there all day. And there's another guy out there all day. He's a black guy. And they look like the black people from the 1950s, Malcolm X's time. Both of them are lean with flawless skin, healthy, strong looking hair. And they stay outside. So I'm telling you this. Your phone is a greater risk of ruining your life as a black person. Because you can be on your phone, you can talk to people, all over the world. You can do that in your house. But that's really bad for you. White people's skin is made in a way to not thirst for the sun. It's not thirsty for it. I know you think because you're melanin that your skin's not thirsty for the sun. That's exactly what it is thirsty for. Cause you're melanated. You have more melanin to you. My daughter is not even as melanin as me, and y'all seen her. And she starts to get really weak and very sick, like when she hasn't been outside all day. She gets very fatigued, and she's not even as melanated as me. But she's actually a lot skinnier than me. So basically, her body feels more starved when it doesn't have sun all day. Because like Cole Robinson said, skinny people are hungrier than you when they're not eating, when they haven't eaten. When they haven't been fed by the sun, they're suffering more than you. Meaning this, the way it feels, the way they feel. But you're under more stress. Your heart's under more stress if you're obese. So actually, physically, you're actually in a more dangerous type of suffering than they are. They may be suffering energetically, but you are suffering organically, organ-like. You are suffering internally if you're obese as a black person indoors all the time. And you're suffering more mentally than they are. Because there's no way that your cortisol is not high often when you are obese. We don't have an obese problem in the black community. We have a high cortisol problem. See, I don't like it when people say it's a fat problem in the black community, when all these black people are 20 pounds at least overweight. We have a high cortisol. This means that black people need more vacation time. We don't need 2-week vacation a year. We need a monthly staycation. We need 2 days out of a weekend, every weekend, to cut out technology, leave modern world, and stay away from it. We need to bust out board games, card games, books. We need to hang out at the libraries, go to the parks, go to a museum or something, and then have maybe each night just movie night, and the movie needs to be extremely respectful of our energy. Meaning maybe just watch Disney movies or something that, or if you're on staycation, movies that literally celebrate your black culture. You're not on vacation if you're not watching those kind of films. We don't need more quiet time. We need to be around people who care about us. Saying I'm gonna go ahead and protect my energy today from my family. No, if they're toxic, you're still gonna go back around them. So they're gonna spike your cortisol back up again, and you're yo-yo dieting. You're gonna start yo-yo dieting. So you need to just be like, I'm not gonna deal with them because they don't care about me. I have to have longevity because I owe it to my ancestors to put something in this world that will protect their history and their existence and their talents, to finish their business. Because what I'm doing is unfinished business of my ancestors. They have unfinished business. So I have to have longevity so I can get their business, their business almost done. And most of our ancestors have unfinished artistic business because they was denied artistic excellence. They was denied literature. They was denied being able to read. They was denied being able to build with their own hands something for themselves and not just for some king above them. Those were things they were denied. They were denied publications of recipes that would heal their people. They was denied that kind of stuff. They definitely wasn't allowed any publications. They was not allowed to leave any worldwide public record of their existence, of the power and their abilities. We don't need to keep talking about what happened to our ancestors. We have to finish the business. And we have the opportunities now that they don't have to finish that business. And when we dive into that business and we become a genius in it because we have more time than they had, everything else starts to work out for us. You will have less money problems, as I said. You will have less relationship problems as well. You want to be worried about your toxic boyfriend. You will forget to even call him. You won't even care to check for his text messages. And guys, you won't even be thinking about the last time you got laid by that fine black woman. You won't give a damn about it. You won't have to make a plan to lose weight. It all works itself out. You can't afford to not have a project. You can't afford to go every single day and call your slave job your project. You cannot afford that as a black person. You cannot, you cannot, you cannot fight stress always focused on it, always having it in your face, always having too much time to think about it. You can't fight it that way. You fight it by the famous quote, muddy waters are sometimes best cleared by leaving it alone. But the mind does not want to be wondering so much. So put your mind to use so the muddy waters will start to clear out so that you can come up with solutions. Solutions will come to you. It's hard for people to disrespect you as a black person when you have proven how genius you are in something. Genius is godliness, and people will kiss your butt, suck up, chase you, want you, see you as special. They will see you as a god. I'm serious, no lie. You will get a lot of jealousy and envy to remind you just how gifted you are. That's the kind of jealousy, that you know that you really earned, that you didn't trick somebody to be in because you was looking a certain kind of way. That kind of jealousy comes because you can contribute something to society in a way that they can't. People can say 1,000 things about you. You got big lips, big nose, big head, you got a big mouth, you got a deep voice, or whatever. But you can always get the last laugh when you show just how brilliant you are. What can they say about that? They can't speak nothing about that. They'll look like a hater. They can't speak nothing about that. You can be 90 years old, all old, and someone can say, oh, you hit the wall. But you can always say, but I'm hitting the wall with more brilliant than you. What I'm producing is better than what you're producing. You're stuck on the wall. You're stuck on the wall. I hit the wall and came off the wall. I'm off the wall with my brains. You're stuck on the wall with barely any good brains. That's the difference between me and you. And my aging is being in reverse because I'm becoming a genius. God rewards brain power, the use of brain power. You're going to stay aging faster because you don't give a damn about the power of your brain. And that's what you'll be able to say to them. When people on this channel say, Ms. B, you have beautiful skin, I am obsessed with the power of my brain. I do brain exercises in here with my hands. I do all type of hand work in here for emotional flow energy. But as soon as I skip for a couple weeks, the devil gets me every single time. You don't need more entertainment. You need something to believe in that you think will save the world in some way. Because people think that you're not a savior. People think that you are just taking advantage of some black privileges and just leeching off the system and just lazy and a waste in society. There's people who think that about you. So when people say that about you, you say, I'm an inspirational force out here. Let me tell you what I do that's not just on welfare or 9-to-5 job. Or just looking good. Because I know that's what you think about me. Your enemy never thinks you're going to prove them spiritually wrong. They don't think you're going to do that. They don't think you're going to come with something that's like, look how powerful my brain is. They don't think that. They think that you're going to come with, look how good I look. Look how big this diamond is. Look how somebody wanted me. They think you're going to be in that energy as a black woman. A brilliant black woman is hated because she proves people wrong in the way that they can't dispute. They are speechless. You shut them up. It's hard for them to find any justification to hate you other than they would look racist. Because in order for you to become brilliant, you have to have some groundedness and some discipline to you. And when you work on becoming brilliant as a black woman especially, you prove to the world that you do have discipline. As soon as they say, no, you don't have discipline, let me show you what I've done with my brain. How do you think I've done this? How do you think I was able to do this? With discipline. Stop trying to prove you matter with these protesters in this voice. No, no. You want to prove that you belong. You prove what you can do with your mind. And Albert Einstein was talking about that. I got respect for the man when he said knowledge is not a superpower. Imagination. Because knowledge is out here. You can go to school and get knowledge in books. But when you put something out in this world that's special, that's distinctive, that is enlightening, okay, now you are proving people wrong that say that, hey, they can do what you do. In the black community, knowledge ain't proving nothing to anybody out here. You can go to all these books you want to about life coach guru stuff or whatever, all of that stuff. That's not proving no one that you're on the level of other races. When you prove that you can use your imagination, that you can be a creator. Okay, now you're having the last laugh. You're having the last laugh out here. And creation, creative energy, it can save you. It protects you from coming up with scripts in your mind that would lead you to jumping off a cliff. You won't even get to that point. It protects you from going to the edge. We have a lot of people doing wicked things now because they don't have they're not accessing their imagination. They're not trying to be a genius with their imagination. The patent office is probably dusty as hell in there. Okay, it's probably like, the patent office is probably like, the copyright office is probably like, oh, we might as well start laying people off because ain't not much coming through here like it used to. When you meet with other black people, like the one black guy said, do we got something productive to do? If we don't, we might as well not even be bothered with each other. Because what do you think is going to come out, be discussed? Things that we are exhausted of discussing. Things that are so worn out talking about. Talking about what we're going through with each other is not changing anything. Us being productive with each other will change things. I don't want black friends. I want black producers. Black and white. All races as a producer. But I no longer want somebody, my friend, us blacks unite. Let's just unite to produce. Because I'd be so sad when I go to Amazon and I see so many things out by non-blacks, and I'm like, there should be way more books on Amazon and literature by black people. What is going on? I mean, I don't even see any book drives being ran by black people. Every time I go to book drives every season almost. Every time there's a book drive I go, and it's ran by white people. I have yet to go to a pop-up shop and it's a black person selling books. It might be like their own personal little books and some incense, but it's like they don't have no other books there. But I'm just saying, we say that we wanted our right to literature and read or write, but why aren't we seeing that's a superpower? I don't understand. And I feel sometimes I feel like the world's trying to say I'm insane and that I'm weird because that's what I glamorize. It's like I sometimes I feel like I'm being treated like I'm obsolete or something. When it's like, no, like you're non you not being heavily in the literature means that you are irrelevant. I don't see anyone really relevant who don't really care about literature, who think that literature is optional. Like, oh, I read one book a month. That's optional. No, it's not optional. Reading is protection. Reading actually gives you a certain hormone that is critical for your mental health. I forget what it is. I think it might be serotonin or something of that nature. But reading is reading automatically protects your level of hope. It keeps you it keeps your faith in the goodness of society, of your belief in the value of society. It keeps you from seeing society in just black and white. You don't see it in just black and white when you're reading literature. You are reminded of the beauty and love of other cultures and not just your own when you're reading literature. And you're reading it because it is your way of also celebrating how abundant society is. Walking, praying, exercising is not enough. You need reading because it gives you a different hormone. Like exercising like helps you with endorphins or something like that. Serotonin, when you're like making sure you feel like you're needed, like with cats, they give you serotonin so you feel like you still have your purpose. Black people need serotonin a lot. We need to do things that remind us of how we're needed in society. Cats will give you that, but the problem with using pets for serotonin is that it leaves no evidence of what you've done. That's proof of your value. So for real, when the empresses in Africa had cats for their serotonin, um, they were kind of still using a low key dark way to get serotonin. They wasn't really doing anything but sitting there being filthy rich and hogging and hoarding all the money. But if they felt low value, they would just go ahead and have their cats rub their head against them. To me, that's kind of cheating the Most High out of actually doing some work. So like when with cats with serotonin, they're really supposed to be used just for the little extra serotonin that you need. They're not supposed to be your primary serotonin source, which is why some empresses who have like 50 cats, you notice they still look like they're like the Walking Dead. Okay, they're not really rewarded with looking young because They didn't get their serotonin by actually being in society. They got their serotonin from being with a cat indoors. We have to start, as black people especially, glamorizing getting our hormones outside of our house. Endorphins, exercising outside so we can be rewarded with youthfulness. The hormones will not feel oppressed by house shadow energy. We also, as black people, need to remove all light bulbs out of our house. That's another thing I'm tired of. I'm tired of going in black people's houses and it's light bulb city, but it's not like white light therapy. It's like regular light bulbs with these lamps and stuff. That is so bad for us. It's not even funny. I can feel the oppression energy of it. I can feel that. When our ancestors were slaves, they were only allowed a little small candle because the slave masters knew the firelight was abundant for us. It would motivate us and empower us. So we wasn't allowed much light in the shacks. Our ancestors weren't allowed much light. Now we are sitting here able to use candles for our primary light, and we're not doing it. We're saying, oh, candles is witchcraft. That was a trick so that we will run to these light bulbs. And even if you go and get white light lamps in your home, that's a substitute for not going outside. So we're still being tricked. We're still being tricked. When our ancestors liked firelight, flames, there's no point in buying a home as a black person if you don't have a fireplace. We're not supposed to be in homes, have land without a fire pit. I'm speaking the truth. The most healthiest time of my life was when me and my family were constantly sitting at the fire pit, at the grill. We were cooking out every single day almost. We were going camping and sitting at fire pits all day for like a whole week. It was like a year. We were doing that often, and we all looked so young and so fit and so happy and hopeful. We can't we can't just go into the land and do that and take land out here. So we have to bring the land to the land where we live. If you're living in government homes, it don't mean that you can't turn your government home into the home of your ancestors. You still can. They make little miniature fire pit thingies that you can put in here. That you can get a little, they make the little trays too. You can get a little fire going. You can still burn candles. You could burn oil. You could burn scented oil. The point that I'm making is stop being so quick to accept the toxic version of your culture that your ancestors never purged, that they were forced to have because they were slaves. I would rather buy more food on the fire than more weave. I would rather buy more wood. I would rather get a fire going and being able to cook my food over fire than worrying about how much hair I have on my head. I'm really considering removing my hair all the way down to maybe a couple inches. Because I agree with Albert Einstein when he says, doing your hair and all that, getting all into hair care, it's a waste of energy and mental power. Like it's not really necessary. It's not really an essential need. It's not really essential for spiritual growth. It's only an illusion. It's you've been lied to. Having to have long hair and hair on your head is actually an illusion. That's really not necessary for ascension. That's not necessary for appreciation. There's cancer patients, people walking around here with bald heads. Can you imagine the self love that they got from not chasing that trend of hair? The other day I was twisting my hair and I look up and look and I really kept track. I said 3 hours went by and I literally sacrificed 3 hours of my time at my age when I know I got to give a chunk of my time to work. This don't make no sense. I could be working on my prize winning pieces that I'm sure are prize winners. Cause in the beta versions in my reviews and my beta versions of my work were like really, really good. People were really impressed by the literature I'm doing right now. That I had to like stay quiet about it, about the stuff I'm writing. But that would have been 3 hours I could have worked on my PDF. I mean, I could have done because I'm playing my French horn again. I could have did some French horn studies, started playing some French horn music for 3 hours. I could be learning a new skill. We think that the white race is like special because they're geniuses. They're just not wasting their time. They shampoo their hair in the shower and slap some mousse in it and run a comb through it. I have plenty of white people in my family. I see them. They're little 20-minute hairdos. They don't want to deal with what we're dealing with our they don't even I don't even think they care about hair like that with each other, like how long each other's hair is or how if it's snatched. They ain't even thinking about that. Let's think about what we're doing wrong with ourselves. Let's think about that. I know some of y'all say, "Well, I don't I don't want other black people to look at me and talk about me and have a problem with me because I got my hair short or whatever." Why the hell do you care about that? Why do you care about that? I remember when I was working at the bank and I said I had enough of this. I'm not sitting 8, 9 hours a month for some locks because my hair grows really fast when my hair is locked. So I was dishing out like $100 at least every 2 months on getting my hair retwisted. It was ridiculous. I was going home with only 3 hours of sleep and then trying to go to work and work a 12-hour shift. One day I just got so effing tired of it that I said, I'm cutting all this hair off. And my hair was so long I could wrap it up and wrap it up and wrap it up. And I went to the shop and I just got it all cut down. I got it cut in like an African hairstyle, short. And I'm telling you no lie, when I went to work, every single person that looked at me was like, wow, your hair looks nice. The white people were like, your hair looks real nice. And it just blew me away. That just goes to show that how we see ourselves is sometimes it's just, we're just got some self-hate when we think that we're going to be negatively judged. Maybe that's just all in our heads. When we say, if I'm skinny, no one's going to be attracted to me. That could be just all in your head. I don't want to fight for money as much as I did the year before that or the year before that. Which means I have to, and you do too, be a minimalist. And a minimalist is not sitting 5, 6 hours for a hairdo. A minimalist is not using 3, 5, 4 different products for their hair. But I swear, when I speak to fellow black people, they will say I'm a minimalist. And I'm like, okay, you got all these different steps for here. You got these whole 1 hour nail appointments with these nails on. And you think that money is just going to come rushing to you as often as you want it to. It's not. Our the best thing we could do as black people is try to be more as God made us. God didn't make us overweight when we were born. Not too many babies were obese when they were born, and if they were, it's because they was chosen to be very tall. My brother was an 11-pound baby. My brother was 11 pounds when he was born, but my brother is literally 7 foot tall. We weren't born with wigs and weaves and hair all the way down to our butt, and yet we were all beautiful when we were babies. So what does all this, why does this matter? Why does this stuff matter? It didn't matter when we was babies. It only matters because we're listening to strangers who's telling us how we should look and be. When little kids walk around with hardly no head on their heads, nobody says anything. Nobody says they don't have no value. You know how good you are. You know how you think. That determines your value. Who cares what anyone has to say? I have a family member who's losing weight very slowly. I don't care how fast they lose the weight. They have value because they're putting in work. They're trying. They don't have any fancy hairdos, but they do get their hair washed every month. They're doing something. They contribute to the family on a weekly basis. They don't just go to their 9 to 5 job. They're cooking and feeding people. They don't go to their 9 to 5 job and order takeout. They actually don't even care about takeout anymore. They cook home cooked meals for everybody. They feed everybody before they even eat. They have value. They buy clothes once a year and only when they need them. So they're not complaining about money. My family member literally paid off all their debts. They're in their 50s and all their debts is paid. And they literally had credit cards and everything. You know why they were able to pay off their debts? Because they stayed a minimalist. I saw this with my own eyes. They stayed a minimalist for like 25 years. And they don't never want to go back to their 23, when they were 23 and they were in the energy of thinking they had to follow trends and they had to have this and have that. They spent the last 20 something years. They're wearing the same clothes that they wore in the 90s. The same damn clothes, y'all. What they bought maybe like 3 new jeans and a flannel, only because their flannel got beat down completely. And they bought 3 new jeans because they lost some weight. They lost some more weight or whatever. They had to buy a couple more jeans to wear since some of their jeans tore up too bad. But other than that, and they bought 2 belts. That's all I've seen them buy, and a t-shirt in like 20 years. They only buy boots when they need them. When their boots get holes in them, they buy boots. That's it. They got 2 pair of tennis shoes and 2 pair of boots they didn't had for many, many years. The sneakers they didn't had for about 20 years. And we're sitting here like, oh, money is a problem. Oh, I'm tired of this and tired of that. Mm-mm. I hope that we can get more in that energy. I know I am. I'm done. I am done. I think people need to go through what I went through on YouTube. I think more black people need to see how much you're not in control of money when someone is deciding your paycheck. I think that we need something to happen so we can have a wake up call and then be like, I'm a change. I'm done with this toxic black culture. Some of us have too much backup plans. We got mom and dad to come through. We got a boo or sugar daddy, or we got child support or welfare. And see, that's all becoming a problem because as long as you got backup and backup and backup, you're not going to be as mindful. A lot of us is not going to be as mindful of what we have. When you back yourself in a corner with no way out, with no plan B, C, D, E, believe me, you will get mindful at that point. I went the last few years with no backup. When I say no backup, I really mean it, y'all. There was nobody to give me money. My parents are dead. My siblings don't live near me. Some of them live more than an hour away in different states and stuff. I don't have no auntie support. My in-laws don't give me a dime. Nobody gives me any money. I don't get welfare. I don't get child support. I don't get disability. I don't get Social Security. It's all me. I don't ask my husband for money. His money is not my money. this is the realest talk around here. I have to pay my way. I have to pay rent. I have to be able to pay for stuff that we need. Medical supplies, groceries, gas in the car. I don't have any free government money to give me money. I don't have no grant money coming through. If I don't work and get money, I'ma starve. And that because I don't have a husband that's about somebody lazy. That's about just throwing off his money. He's not about being a sugar daddy. No one I know wants to be a sugar daddy. So it's me. I gotta pull my weight or I'm screwed. Nobody I know is gonna allow me to use them for money. So my point is I know what it's like to be in a corner and hey, you gotta fight your way, you gotta fight your way out before somebody will even think of coming to help a little bit. And when I realized this was the situation that I'm in, when I didn't have no fallback parents to go to, no stepdad, no deadbeat dad, no big brother to go through, no mama, none of them. I don't even got no grandparents on either side. They're all dead. Almost all my uncles is dead. One of my uncles, my next oldest uncle, just died. He never sent me a dime, even though he worked for the Pentagon. My other uncle, he's in really bad shape, almost dying, basically heart trouble. I don't have nobody to go to. My sisters are in the same situation. They need their money. They got little kids to take care of. They got an adopted kid to take care of. One got a husband that's is trying to get his business off the ground. So guess what? I cannot afford to cater to toxic black culture. I will be stuck, trapped, and possibly put out on the street. And maybe some of y'all got to be in that same do or die situation for y'all to glamorize being a minimalist. Maybe y'all will show up on your YouTube sometime in flannels that you've had for 20 years. Some of y'all see me with my flannel. It's my favorite flannel. That flannel has been with me since I was maybe 19 years old. I wore that flannel through homelessness, through job hopping, through apartment hopping, through getting married, through grief, everything. I've had that flannel since I was 19 years old, and some of y'all have seen me wear that flannel. And I'm never giving the flannel up because it reminds me of how to humble myself, of how abundant my life was. Abundant my life was even when I was a hardcore minimalist. It reminds me to appreciate what I have. Your plan B, C, D, and all, it has a It has a trap to it. I know that you don't see it that way. I know that you don't. But nothing lasts forever. The Creator will put changes in your life even when you don't want them. You think you're safe? You think you're safe because you got your mom and dad to cover your bills? They're not going to live forever. Take it from somebody to know. My husband was living with his dad, and you know what? His dad dropped dead right in front of his eyes. He was a little boy living with his dad. His dad dropped dead right in front of his eyes, and he ended up living with his grandmother. Then his grandmother's son had to live with her, so she didn't have the room. So he lived with his mom. And then his mom had to move, and they had to take, and then where they moved, they only had one room. So he had to get his own damn place. But he never considered any of that plan B, C, D. He refuses to take a single dime from his mom. He doesn't live off his mom. He doesn't live for free. He doesn't accept any free gifts or money from his mother because, as he said, he knows that that's a trap. See, you can get too comfortable with that. That happened to my sister. 20 years my sister was in that energy. And now she's being forced to work. After 20 years, she had to get herself a job. Your kids are going to grow up, and some of them may leave home, and they're not. And even if they're disabled, at some point they're not going to want you to cash their checks. You can go ahead and feel you're safe right now with your kids' disability checks and with your mother's disability checks that you're in charge with. But let me tell you a story about that. My one friend was in charge of his mother's disability checks, and he was running things with his wife's money and everything. One day his wife decided to leave him, got sick of his porn addiction and stuff. So he lost her income. And then his mother up and died. He tried to lie in the system and cash her checks while she was dead. He got caught. Okay? He went through so much with all of that. He ate himself until he was 400 pounds. He was obese. He became obese. He told me the story that all of this happened. He ended up becoming very obese, living in some old broken down apartment that was real bad, y'all. Not like it's an antique, but like bad. And you couldn't walk in there. There was food all over the place, garbage all around him. He died in his bed with some boxers on, with dirt and filth all around him. Dirty toilet paper, poop. He was going to the bathroom on himself, and trash all around him. And you would not think if you knew his beginnings. He actually was a genius instrumentalist as an instrumentalist. Very gifted. He decided to stop in his career and go do something he thought was safe and get his mother's checks. And in the end, he died broke, obese, with trash and garbage all around him. Died in his 60s. Died young, I think in his 50s. And laid there in his bed, died, and nobody knew. This is what happened to a friend of mine. I went over there and tried to take care of him, but his mental health was so downhill, I couldn't even get through to his mind. He was just done. I was his caregiver. There was nothing I could do to convince him to stop his toxic culture of just eating himself to death and living in porn hell and just depending on the system. I couldn't get him to wake up. And then he just died. So when I'm telling y'all this, so maybe y'all will get with it for real. He died with so much wonderful music around him, and music that he created. Probably in dumpster. It probably was in the dumpster. His family probably threw it in a dumpster. It's sad. This is what Les Brown talks about. How many people are, how much wonderful things is in the graveyard. People dying with their unfinished business. It's a common thing with black folks. Because we'll give up and quit and run to what we think is safe. If we're going to say that this was our land first, why the hell do you think you have the right to give up? If this was your land first, you should be first to set an example. Set a good example. That means you're the parent of the land. See, I have no interest. How I beat my bad eating habit. This is how I beat my bad eating habit recently. Is that I decided that I would rather serve more than eat more. I decided to calculate just how much time I have left, and I just don't have the time to waste on killing myself a little faster. I don't have the time for it anymore. Of being reckless with myself. My family members half the time don't even live to see 80. So why am I going to gamble anymore? My time to gamble with my energy and my life is over, and you should feel the same. My mother died with songs and poems that she never published. With a storybook, a children's story that's actually pretty good that I plan to publish for her. That she never published. Because she sat in that house with toxic black culture. That's what she did. Eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. Complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. Not going anywhere. Just complaining about society, what she gone through, what this, that. And then finally, when she decided to get up out that energy and she told me she was going to do her bucket list, she dropped dead. My dad, my biological dad, when he decided to reach out to us and try to see us and try to spend time with us, he found out he had stage 4 cancer. Died. He only had a couple years to live. When my daughter was little, he basically had stage probably 1. He thought he always was getting the flu. The whole time he had stage 4, he had cancer and didn't know. He was trying to kind of make time for us. He had literally started inviting us over and things like that. But he was out of time. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's something with our culture that I realize with our race is maybe because our skin looks so good and we be looking young that somehow we think that we don't have a death day. It's like we actually forget about that. That's like wow, like I just noticed that. Like I even noticed how so many of us don't prioritize quality time with each other. We could go months without talking to each other, even weeks and days without seeing each other. And I'm wondering, like, why are we normalizing that? I know black people say, I haven't seen my cousins, I haven't seen my auntie, I haven't seen, and it's just like, but when you get that news, you're going to run. They're going to run to see you. You're going to run to see them. It's hard to think your clock is ticking when you're looking in the mirror and you're like 50 with no cracks. But it's still ticking. I hope this put fire up under the heels of a lot of black people. When you think that you're invincible, all because you can keep muscle mass so long. You look strong. You're not invincible. If we were invincible, we would be living long. We think we're invincible until we find out we have high blood pressure and heart problems. Then we get a wake up call. We think we can argue someone to death, fight and argue and complain, and we're okay because I'm strong. I'm 180 pounds and ripped and thick. But you don't know what's going on inside you. Oh, you're very welcome. Very, very welcome. I say if you want to extend your life, serve. And I don't mean like 9 to 5. I mean serve in something you know you are passionate about. You choose what it is. Serve, and this is serious. Serve and lay down longer. I know it's I know they say actually I thought I was told that laying around wastes your life. Actually it don't. Sitting around does not waste your life. Gorillas are sitting around. Turtles are sitting around. They go for a swim and then they walk around a little slow on the beach and sit around. You see, when you go to some indigenous cultures, you see 90-year-old people sitting around. You see 60-year-olds sitting around. They might go for a walk 2 times a day, but they damn sure ain't jumping from here to there like, hoo, ha, hoo, ha. I see this a lot. You won't even need to sleep 8 hours a day if you spend some time sitting around. A 30-minute walk is actually enough. Even a 1 hour walk, which would be 15 minutes, like 6 times a day. A 15-minute walk 6 times a day is enough. That's enough to get that blood pressure down. That's enough to release some cortisol. That means in the morning, walk 15 minutes. Lunch, walk 15 minutes. After work, walk 15 minutes. After dinner, walk 15 minutes. That's it. The rest of the day, you can sit around. All this standing and cooking, that's another issue. Our ancestors wasn't standing and cooking. They were sitting around and cooking. It always shocks me when I see people standing at counters cooking. When I see that, it's like standing is still no different than kind of soft working out. It still burns calories, y'all. Cole Robinson was talking about that. When you're obese and you're standing, it's like almost no different than like you're walking. Almost power walking. So it just shocks me when I see people like standing and doing everything. And then they wonder why, like, they say my sleep didn't really work. I still feel tired. "15 minutes would be walking around a room and cleaning. Find a room to clean. Clean each room. That's walking. Walking and bending, cleaning your bathroom 15 minutes. Clean your bedroom 15 minutes. Clean your kitchen 15 minutes. Clean your living room 15 minutes. Go outside and walk for 10 minutes. That's enough. Or pick 3 rooms a day to clean for 15 minutes and go for a 15-minute walk. And then sit around the rest of the day. If you're off, just sit around after. If you ain't working that day, just sit around. You don't have a certain time to get done with dinner. Dinner will get done. Go as slow as you like. I see black people be busting it out in the kitchen like I gotta get this food. We gotta get this food done. Blah blah blah. No no no. No. Actually, the longer we go on without food is better. If they can't wait to eat dinner, then give them some damn salary to eat. Give them a carrot. Tell them they can have some vegetables or something. Raw vegetables till dinner get done. A salad. Take your time. And it's hard for black people to take their time because we are conditioned to go fast. Our ancestors were taught fast, get it done, hurry up, shut up, work, ha. It's like a part of our mental health that is like programmed in our mind to always be like we always got to be doing something all day. No, we don't. My hamper is seldom ever empty. Cause I don't have to do laundry, get all the laundry done. I have to get done what I'm gonna wear. I don't want to spend my life doing 2 hours of laundry every week and 2 hours of cooking and no, every day. No, every meal. No, we don't get no energy. And some days you need to leave boring, boring food, boring entertainment, boring. This is a very boring day in my house today, and it feels very good. Very, very boring. We're not talking much. Our breakfast was boring as hell. All I had was a turkey sandwich for lunch. It's very boring in here, but it feels peaceful. Black people are taught to be thirsty for entertainment because we are the most favorite entertainment. We are the entertainment of entertainment. NFL, sports, dance, videos, you name it. The entertainment of entertainment. And you can actually get fatigued and exhausted and stressed out from entertainment even when it's not toxic. It's too much coming through. Sometimes you gotta fast on enjoying your life. Like this is a day where we're not actually enjoying. We're not actually having a beneficial day. I'm fasting. I'm having a beneficial fasting day where nothing I do has to be of benefit. Literally, I don't care. I don't care. I really don't even care about pleasure. I just want to vibe and chill. Get my son in. Eat a boring little, eat a boring little meal and chill. I saw somebody's post online and they said they sick of food. I told them, I'm gonna tell you something that other people probably ain't gonna tell you. I said, you're sick of food. You don't like any food because food is played out fun. You need actually a boring meal for you to like food again. And they were like, that don't make no sense because um, I feel like my food has to be real tasty for me to enjoy it. I said, you've been overdoing it. Distance make the heart grow fonder. I said, actually eat your food real plain for a while and you'll see that all of a sudden you want to explore food again. All of a sudden you're interested in making food tasty and then you'll seek out tasty food. And that goes with anything. You have to starve yourself of everything sometime. Everything but God. Everything but the outdoors. There's days that I don't even think about working on my books. I might just do 15 minutes, that's it. Because I'm overdoing it. I need to keep the love strong. Start having boring meals. I have yet to go in a black person's house and their food be boring. I never heard of a food be boring made by a black person. I'm just keeping it real. And I think sometimes we do need some boring food. We do need to just invite each other over and have some wedding soup and some tea and that be it. I remember when I would go to my cousin's house and she always felt like she had to bust it out on the meal every time. I said to my cousin, I was like, Tosh, I'm good. She's no, no, I'm gonna make you some crab legs and all this stuff. I was like, I am good with the sandwich. Like, this is like ridiculous. I know that you want to show gratitude for your black family members. You want to prove that you appreciate them because you know that they're underappreciated. But sometimes we just need to go ahead and chill and save our energy. Hi, everybody. I told my husband the other day, I said, I miss the days when we had grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup for dinner. He started laughing. He just started laughing and kind of looked at me. And I said, I know we was eating that because we was like real poor, but I don't really think that was why. I said, I remember really liking it. And then I guess he thought about it. He said, yeah, yeah, that would be good to have. And it was just such a boring, boring food idea. But then when he thought about, like the movie Ratatouille. I'm gonna watch Ratatouille tonight. um, that kind of like made him realize like how boring is actually still spiritual. And so we had lunch meat sandwiches this week, and it was like real boring. And we never really eat lunch meat, but it was like real boring and like old school, But it was like good. It was cool. I seen him. He made his little lunch meat sandwich. I made mine, and I said, "This is so old school in the '90s." But it was like I felt like my energy was like real was preserved. And then I saw that he bought frozen orange juice. I said, "Oh no, he didn't buy frozen orange juice. Like what welfare give you." I said, "I don't know why he buying that when we don't need to buy that." But I guess he's like, um, you know, what is the point of paying the extra money just for like jug orange juice? uh, there was things that did work in the black culture. We do need to go back to some of the stuff. I know we say, ooh, lunch meat is bad and all this fear mongering and stuff is actually costing us more. We can't afford to cater to fear mongering energy. It's wild. Like our dessert, my dessert is literally a Debbie snack cake, chocolate Debbie snack cake. And I know that's wild because people say, oh, that's bad for you. That's bad for you. But if Debbie snack cakes were so bad to have as a dessert, why the heck is there's 90-year-old people in a nursing home that still go to the vending machines to get Debbie snack cakes? And why did they grow up with Debbie snack cakes? So everything is not bad for you. Okay? Some things in the black underappreciated or minority underappreciated community, some things were working for us. I just find that funny, like when my family members came in with these Debbie snack cakes the other day, I was like, what the hell? Cause I wasn't eating Debbie snack cakes for like, I'm talking about 15, 20 years or so. And they was like, I remember when you liked these chocolate Debbie snack cakes. I said, yeah, I did like them when I was younger. And they was like, I got them because I thought you might still like them. And I was all ready to say, nah, And then I said, why am I saying that when I was in perfect health when I was eating Debbie snack cakes as a snack? So I said, I'm cool with that. I'm fine. We don't need no $20 cake up in here. We don't need a $15 pie. Okay, we're done. I'm good. Appreciate what you get. And I was about to say I could have gave you any more money to get a German fudge cake. I was about to say that, but then I knew that that's not why they bought the Debbie snack cakes. They bought the Debbie snack cakes because I liked them, and they're affordable at the same time. It wasn't that they were trying to be cheap, so that's why I didn't say why didn't you get the German fudge cake, and I could have gave you some money on it. I knew that they weren't trying to be cheap. They was trying to think smart, like save money plus have what we enjoy. See, that's what it's about. It's not about following trends. It's not about it's not about how expensive your life is. It's about saving money while eating what you enjoy, and what you're eating is not such a health risk. And that's just it when it comes to like your diet. And I personally find adding some of the 90s diet in with our life that we're having, I find that it has had a like big improvement on our energy and money. Like I'm just finding that like extra dollars is being kept. Like I don't buy coffee anymore. I quit drinking caffeine. I don't do caffeine no more unless it's a little bit in tea. That's it. And I literally saved like $15 the last 2 months. I saved $30 from not buying coffee. And then I also I don't buy a lot of raw organic fruit anymore. I drink mostly only juice as fruit. That's what we did in the 90s. We might have had one piece of fruit a day. The rest of the fruit we normally had was as juice. And I'm finding like I'm saving money. Instead of paying $2 on an apple for an apple, I'm able to pay I'm able to spend two something on a jug of juice. It's just more affordable. It's kinder on my teeth. It's more. It's. I think it. Um. I just think that holding on to money a little longer is better for us now. You know. And what's funny? When I got my blood work done last month, the doctor was like, "Your blood work is better. Only thing that you're struggling in is your iron." And I said, "Yeah, I haven't really been eating foods that would give me more iron. I'll start doing that." But other than that, she was like, "Your blood work is way better than it was months ago." And yet, months ago, I was eating organic food. I was eating everything in Whole Foods. That just goes to show um, that it's not just because you're eating Whole Foods don't mean you're going to get good blood work. Uh, I just think that I personally think also as a black person we need more liquid in our life because I think that we have too much earth energy. So we need to increase our liquids. We need more like soup, juice, Gatorade and things like that. Also, if you have like blood types that is predominantly found in with black people, like my daughter's dad's side of the family, even though they're not black, they got like the same blood type as me. They got one of the blood type of my letters. So obviously, I think they might be like Irish or whatever. because he said he was Irish, half Irish. So he took it the blood type of his dad, his half Irish. So I know Irish people got, most of them got the same blood type as black people, and so do Asians. So, but I noticed that they drink a lot of liquids, y'all. His family constantly, they eat so many salads, salad eating, and juice and wine drinking, constant liquids. But they all look pretty good. Like they're living. His family live long lives. Like his family be living in the 90s and hundreds and stuff. But they drink a lot of liquids, soups and stuff. Like his mom makes a lot of like chicken soup and different soups and stuff. I think that black people need to do the same. So I went and bought me some wedding soup, and I'm gonna have days where it's just soup and sandwiches and Debbie snack cakes and juice. I mean, I know we like our soul food, but that don't really that don't really do longevity though. Everything that tastes good ain't helping you to live long. That's the problem. So I cut back on the Lowry seasoning. I was putting Lowry seasoning a lot in my food. Now I put like a little tiny dash in my food. And now my blood pressure is fine. So I'm telling y'all, if you're black and you're using that Lowry seasoning salt, it's raising your blood pressure. I know black people love Lowry's. Y'all stop messing with Lowry's like that. Stop, leave it alone, y'all. Take a tiny little pinch in your hand and put it in on your chicken. I got rid of all the soul food seasoning but Lowry's. And I don't even use Lowry's every day. Even my husband was getting high blood pressure from the soul food seasoning. And now he don't mess with it. So I'm just saying, like, your heart health, y'all. That's, just look. If look at this point, let racist people be racist. Be like, I don't even care. Okay, I don't care. Am I still getting my paycheck? Yep. So I don't care. Do I still have my job? I don't care. If I still am I still paying my bills? Okay, I don't care. um, it's just wow. I told my family member yesterday I won't be attending any parties that I know everybody like to argue or be disrespectful or be passive aggressive. I said I'm not saying nothing bad about the people, but I'm not going because, and I told my family member, my parents did not live to see 70. So y'all can fight by yourself. Y'all can fight by yourself. I'm not going to drop dead like my mom. I'm not going to end up with stage 4 cancer of my stomach because I'm so stressed out. I get in one little argument and my stomach gets upset. There's been a couple times I got in an argument and all of a sudden I feel like I'm going to go to the bathroom on myself. Because the stomach problem, the stomach in my dad's side of the family is like real sensitive. Me and my sister got a different dad than my older sister. So she don't have to deal with stomach trouble from stress. Me and my little sister stay having stomach problems from stress. And I told her, I said, you better stop because I'm 99% at risk of dying from stomach cancer. I literally took the test that will tell you your risk for different cancers. When I put in how many people died of stomach cancers, immediate family members and stuff, it said you're 99% at risk. It asked me like my medical history. It asked me like, and all that stuff. I said 99%. I said, I bet you I don't get it because now that I know. So after that, I was like, I'm not turning up no more. I haven't turned up, like got pissy drunk in years now since I took that test. And my blood work for my stomach always looks good. I'm just happy to hear that. Now, at one point when I was like real stressed out, they told me that my upper part of my stomach, abdomen, the enzymes and all that there was at a risky level or whatever. I said, see, the devil's trying to manifest cancer in my damn stomach, in my abdomen. So I decided to quit my job that I had and all that. And then when I got my blood work done again recently, the doctor was like, it looks good. Like your liver and your abdomen and stomach enzymes are all better. Everything looks a lot better. I was like, see, it was trying to give me, I knew it. I said, this job and all this stress is trying to give me cancer. Because they was worried that I might had something happening with my liver and my stomach and abdomen. The enzymes were like way too high and other stuff was way too high. But as soon as I eliminated the stress and I like months free of over the past year, the enzymes, everything started normalizing. And then when I got my blood work 2 weeks ago, they called me and she said only thing that's low is iron, and she said that's common when you're entering menopause though. So my iron is just low because my change of life. But she said everything else is fine. You don't even need the x-rays anymore. She said you don't even need uh any medicine or anything. She said you don't need to be on a whole pill of blood pressure anymore either. So I'm down to a half a pill and only when I really need it. So you see what I'm saying? That stress ain't no joke, y'all. Sometimes you got to hear other people's stories. A lot of people won't even share their medical history. Black people won't share their medical journey because we're scared of being judged. But I'm telling you no lie. When I was like stressed out, working a whole lot, eating takeout, and even when I was like, because see, what I found out about being stressed, I know as a black person, it seems like I have real sensitive cortisol to the point where as soon as I get stressed a little bit, my body wants carbs. It has something to do, I think, with the blood type of black people. That when we get stressed out, I think we burn. Our body burns energy so fast just from one argument that it's like we want to go and eat more food to get energy again, even though the calories are still in us. See the problem? So the doctor, when she told me, she said, lower your carb intake. She said, lower your sugar intake. And she did say, consider not drinking coffee, caffeine coffee. And she said, and don't eat a lot of meat. And she was talking about red meat. So, and that's what she said, because she said your blood work with the stomach and the abdomen is concerning. I said, fine, I'm good. Watch what I do. So I switched to turkey and chicken. We switched to turkey and chicken in this house. And when we eat, only meat we will eat here might be a couple pieces of bacon with breakfast, and that's not even every day. And we don't really eat hamburgers here no more like that. We don't really mess with that like that. Sometimes sausages, but not often. But when we both decided to switch, now everything's like the weight is coming off again. We're not even trying to lose the weight. The weight's just coming off. So I'm having a real talk with y'all. Like, you don't got to go to the gym. Your body, if you're under like 45, your human growth hormone is still high enough to the point where you'll keep muscle. Okay, you'll keep the muscle that's in that fat. So all you got to do is just go ahead and just cut the fat down. Like, for real, only eat the fat that's already the little bit of fat that's in the meat. Don't even cook your food with anything fatty. I don't use nothing fat to cook my food anymore. I'm lit. If I put butter to cook my food, a little bit of butter, I will not have no milk with my meal, with my breakfast. I will purposely avoid any other fat. I will not have milk. I think we can't even do cooking food and butter and milk at the same time. I don't think our bodies can take that anymore. It might have been okay to have a high fat diet back in the 1950s, but got to remember we're working way harder. Our body cannot take high fat diet no more. When you listen to these health coaches on YouTube and they're like high fat, like Dr. Eric Berg, what is he really doing? He's an old man, skinny, sitting around in his house, sitting around in his house with his projector. He's a retired doctor, just sitting around editing videos. He could do keto and high fat diet all day, every damn day. But you are not retired Dr. Eric Berg. Okay? You are still a worker bee. So you need a high protein diet and low fat. Exactly. All this gym trend, y'all. The body needs 2 miles a day. That's it. That is it. And I know this for a fact because they have something over here called a walkathon. And there's a black lady that runs it, and she's like, she's very fit. She's not ripped, but she's in really good shape. It's like a 40-something-year-old black woman that runs it. And what she does is she tries to get the whole community, especially the middle-aged people, to do the walkathon. And I did it, and I got a medal. And we had to walk 2 to 3 miles, okay? But we couldn't walk real slow. We had to walk kind of medium fast, not real fast. Um, but you would believe how many people don't even walk 2 miles a day. So she had a walkathon, and she said if everybody walks, because it's almost 3 miles a day, almost 3 miles. She said if everybody walks almost 3 miles, everybody gets a medal, and everybody gets fed at the end of it. So we did the walk, and then when we got there, they gave us fruit, bananas, yogurt, I think, and something to drink, and we all got a medal. I know people are saying that's ridiculous to give people medals for 3 miles, but you got to understand there's a lot of sitting around going on. There's people that just only walk when they got to. It's really that bad now. The fact that you can get up and walk 2 to 3 miles a day, you're already a minority fitness person. A lot of people are sitting in their house now. They just go out to grab food and pay bills and go home. It's really sad because people say, I can't afford this. I can't afford the movies. I can't afford that. Might as well just grab my food and go home. So I find that walking your 2 to 3 miles and then rewarding yourself, just do that. But I know that when we were done walking the 2 to 3 miles, I looked at the step app, and it said like 150 calories burned. It said about that much on my step app. You got to remember that our ancestors They were probably circling their village maybe 3 times a day, which probably would have equaled 3 miles walking. Okay, so they probably circled their village, picking vegetables, gathering water or whatever, gathering wood. They probably did that 3 times a day. And their village was probably like maybe the size of a playground. Okay? Like the circle of a playground. So they walked the circle like the around the playground, like around like the average playground um circle or distance. So they probably did that 3 times a day with every meal they cook. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then I think like maybe twice a month they went on longer walks to fill up their water supply and maybe to to get extra meat or something like that. I do not think that they were hunting 8 miles away from their tents because it would have been a hell of a journey to be able to carry all that meat and stuff 8 miles home. I don't think they were doing that. They could have got risked getting robbed or getting attacked by other tribes, robbed for their meat and stuff. So I think that it might have been a 3 mile walk to the water fishing area, and that might have been it. It probably wasn't even. I think maybe 4 miles. Okay, and I think the men were mostly doing that walk. They were eating more food. A man can eat more food, so he can walk longer than a woman without feeling tired. He could walk consistently without resting longer than a woman because he's eating more carbs. This is what gets me when like men try to tell women like how to diet. No, don't tell me how to diet because you're not going through menopause. Okay, you're not you're not bleeding or anything like that. You can walk longer because you're also allowed to eat more food. So you can walk longer without resting like me. So you can walk 4 miles without feeling a little tired consistently. I probably can walk 3 without feeling so tired. Unless I'm eating like a man. And this is what's happening too. I think that women are keeping up with the exercise routine of men. So they're eating more food like a man, but yet their bodies is not burning like a man burns those calories. I think women need to stick with the fact that they have to do less than a man and just accept it. Just accept it. You're eating less, you're walking less, you're working out with lesser weights, weaker weights, and that's just it. All this I could do what a man do, I think that's a problem in the black community, and that's just my personal opinion. Okay, I'm I'm not saying that I'm hardcore against feminism, but I am not a big feminist supporter. That's just me. You won't see me marching outside for feminism, for the feminists. I'm not going out there. I tried it. I tried that feminist energy, and I could feel how it was hurting my body. Okay? I started getting more anxiety, fatigue, body, bones hurting, back, everything hurting. I'm like, no, I'm good. My daughter's not for feminism. My daughter's not a feminist. None of my sisters are feminists, and my mother wasn't a feminist either. So I'm just saying. Could feminists be a problem in the black community? Um, mm, I mean, if you're working, trying to work hard and work as long as a man, can you expect to actually look young? Like, can you expect that? No. House, and I've had people say you got luscious and soft skin because I don't work as much as a man, and I refuse. I refuse to. I refuse to work 40 hours a week. I'm not doing it again. I was looking. I was aging faster, and I did not look soft and luscious. So I'm not doing that no more. Okay. I feel like this. If you don't want to work 40 hours a week because you don't want to be like I can work as long as a man, then get you a man that's not for feminism. Get you a man that's like I don't do feminist, so that he will respect the fact that you only want to work 25 hours a week. Women need light duty work. Our body bleed too much and that menopause and all that. No, hell no. Them hot flashes and body bone osteoporosis. How the hell women are sitting up there in their late 50s trying to work like a man and dealing with bone loss from low estrogen? No, that's not good. Hi, Hansi. I boo in your mouth. I do. I boo boo. Hans wants some attention. I love you so much, Baba. You love Mama. Hi, Hansi. You say hi. Y'all hear him? You think you can say hi? Let me see if y'all can see Hansi.